Preparing live stream. I guess we're being streamed. Let's do the intro and we will be right back.
All right.
It's time for Red Salad Review with your hosts, Wayne Moon, Greg Narlow, and Lou Maddox.
All right. Welcome to Rat Salad Review. Today we are joined by none other than Manny. He's usually here every week. Where did he just go now?
He'll be back. Anyway, Cole will be back.
And we're joined by Cole. He's been on the show a couple times, but he just disappeared now.
All right, we'll be back because Queen is his favorite band. So wait,
I
but
know.
Cole, why did you want to do an episode on Queen, Wayne?
Just because we haven't done any Queen shows,
Not that
and
big.
I don't think we've done any. Maybe one. We might have done one. I can't really remember. If we did, it was a long, long time ago. And since you've been on the show, you've been over at Cole's house quite a few times since we've done this, and
Right.
we got to know Cole a lot, and he is a huge fan of Queen. And I said, let's have Cole on the show, and we'll do a Queen episode.
By the way, he's going in his room to actually do this.
Oh,
So
well, it was a good
he
idea
was
for him to
outside.
do that as I started the show.
Well, yeah, but he's 17, just 17. Never mind. Anyway. Um, so how long you been a fan of Queen?
I've been
Yourself, Wayne.
a fan of Queen for a very, very long time. But I didn't get the albums till like later on in life. But I always liked them in the '80s. When I saw the videos, I remember the video for "I Want to Break Free" when they all dressed up as girls and stuff. And it was kind of weird. But I was little at the time. What do I know anything about that? But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always loved Bohemian Rhapsody and Radio Gaga, and I remember the videos for what the hell's those songs from Innuendo, Going Slightly Mad, and there was another video for that album.
Oh, the title track, remember? And the Headlong was the other one.
Headlong was the other one. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was always a fan. I really never got into the albums until maybe 15 years ago or so, maybe even sooner than that. I don't even know. But I just all of a sudden just like, and I did that with a lot of bands too that I liked back in when I was younger and I didn't really own anything. I just go back and I just start buying things and I just realize how great Queen is, and I never really took a deep dive into their discography when I was younger, but I'm glad that I did now because as I was getting ready for the show and I was making a playlist on playlist on Amazon Music. I think I made up like 62 songs that I like out of all the albums. So that's 4 hours of listening. That's a pretty deep dive.
That's a pretty good chunk of discography because back then, what were the albums like 45 minutes long or something,
Yeah, so. Not even. Some of these I think are even like a half hour or so.
Yeah, it's incredible. So yeah, when Cole comes on, I'll ask him how he discovered Queen. It wasn't through me. It must have been his dad because I would see Cole when he was a kid, 3 or 4, but I didn't see him that much.
Right.
Because I had my own kids. Why do I want to hang out with another kid?
Exactly. You don't need another.
God's sakes. Yeah. Jesus. Anyway. So, but for me, I remember my sister had the 45 to another one, Bites of Dust, and then Body Language. So my sister, who's about 6 years older than me, only liked the pop singles,
Right.
Yeah, but but she was a singles. She would only buy 45. The only album I recall she owned was Grease and ABBA, of course. That was it. Everything else was 45s. That's all she bought when she was a teenager.
Mm.
But you had Queen. Um, and then I did, and then I remember as a kid I saw Flash Gordon, so I thought, oh, that's cool. Queen is cool. But I forgot I didn't pay attention to him. I mean, when I started getting into music in '82, Queen were still huge internationally, but in the United States their popularity was waning down.
Right.
Not only that, Freddie Mercury's image didn't fit in with the other hard rockers, with the short hair and the mustache and all that.
Mhm.
Uh, and then my brother had a night in the opera and I borrowed it and I couldn't stop listening to it. I thought, wow, I never heard any. And then after that, that was it. I just started picking up their albums. Back then, you can find them really cheap
Mm.
on the flea market. $1, $2, and I would just buy them all. So
I
that
think
was my beginning of Queen.
I think what also helped me too was Wayne's World, because they had Bohemian Rhapsody in that one scene where they're driving in the car, and that, just seeing how they were reacting to that song, it just made me say, man, it really is an awesome song.
Well, it's funny because when Freddie died, he died like I think a few months before that movie came out, or maybe a
Mhm.
year late, a year earlier.
Yeah.
And Brian May was really shocked because Queen again were at the low ebb of their career.
Mhm.
His death brought attention to him, but it was Wayne's World that really brought him back, if you think about it, because Queen since then have never left. They never their popularity has never waned since then. They
Right.
just continued. But prior to that, they weren't as popular as they were now. And it's kind of funny because I'll talk to people who don't really listen to a lot of rock music, but they love Queen, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
So it's really out there. So is Cole on or is he still
Cole
fucking about?
Cole is here. He's right there. And
Hey
he's got
Cole.
the looks like a wig there, but it looks like it's your hair, Manny. So it looks like you're sitting right there next to
Oh,
him.
Oh well.
yeah, man.
Well,
Uh,
well, he
scalp,
dressed up.
man.
He dressed up like me for Halloween, just to let you know. I'm not making that up, Wayne. Somebody told me that.
That's true.
So,
Wow.
It's true.
Cole, how did you get into Queen? That's the first question. How did
Mhm.
you personally get in? It wasn't through me. I know that. So, how did you get into Queen?
I used to listen to a lot of News of the World in the car and everything. You hear "We Will Rock You" and "We Are the Champions" on the
Right.
radio a lot. Um, and then I kind of fell out with that kind of music, like rock and everything, for a little while. And it's funny, they had it was an Amazon commercial, and they had "Somebody to Love" on it. And I remember hearing, I guess it was just Freddie doing like that high part towards the
Yeah.
middle of the song. And I went, "What is that? Who is that?" And I looked into him and I started listening to him more and more. And then it just spiraled off into me spending way too much money on Queen vinyls and Queen memorabilia.
Well, we all had that band. That was that the first rock band that you loved, Cole? For me, it was AC/DC, but was it Queen for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How did you get?
So
Because you said you started with News of the World. So where did that come from? Did your father have it, or a friend have it, or something? Or
Yeah, my father had it on this little MP3 player
oh, okay,
and used to play it a lot in the car.
all right, cool.
Well, it's funny because me and his dad, and I've known his dad for since 1989. I'm
Mm,
a little bit older than his dad. So his dad was about 13 and I was about 19 when I met him.
yeah.
And I got him an Aerosmith. But when David got a little bit older, we both got really into Queen and we would listen to those albums over and over. I mean, Live Killers is a particular favorite. I'd have to ask your dad what we listen to a lot, but we listen to a lot of Queen. So
Mm.
um, his father doesn't really listen to that much music anymore, right? I mean, he still likes music, but unlike us lunatics like you and me and Greg, and a lot of people that we meet in this world, like Al, we our love for music is never stopped. Where his dad still likes music, but he doesn't collect it. It doesn't mean as much to him as it does us, which is kind of weird because all through his father's teens and 20s, even 30s, music was a huge part of his life. So
Yeah.
it's a little
It
weird.
just happens to some people. I mean, it happens to me too. You know, like when I started listening to podcasts, which is why I started doing my own podcast.
Yeah.
I just for some reason I just got sick and tired of hearing music, and I just wanted to hear people talking and hearing all different sorts of interviews and stuff like that. So I don't know, music. I've always collected and stuff like that, but sometimes I even have CDs back there and records that I haven't even opened yet. You know, and probably from 2 years ago I haven't even listened to. So it just happens. But I'm
See,
getting
I
back
can't
into it.
believe that.
I try not to. But
Yeah,
it's
well,
hard. You know?
yeah. Well, I buy too much stuff, so I shouldn't say that because I've
That's
got stuff that I bought
that's the
that I
problem.
haven't filed, that
Hmm.
I won't file till I listen to it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to buy as much stuff. But yeah, I was about to say I can't do that, but then I realized, no, I'm lying. I'm doing that by default because I don't have time to listen to all this stuff.
That's the
Real
problem.
life gets in the way.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I listen to
and
a lot of
like
my
you,
music.
Wayne,
I listen to a lot of my stuff at work. So sometimes if I have a short day, then I'm only listening to like maybe one or two albums, you know. So sometimes I get home, I listen to
uh,
something, but
you
not
also have
always.
a family.
Yeah, it's hard.
Well, you also have a family and stuff. Yeah, and kids wanting your attention. Damn it. So
Yeah.
I get it.
I'm trying to get my
Um,
son into music and stuff. And he likes some Queen songs. Actually, I put a bunch of Queen songs on his MP3 player, and he was listening to another one, Bites the Dust. So he likes Queen too. He likes some songs.
how old is your kid?
8.
8.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't start getting into music till 12, so I was just curious
Yeah,
because
that's
it's
probably around
funny.
the same age as me too.
My daughter loves Queen, but my other children, well, Dylan, he's got autism. He really likes music, but he's all over the place. But he says, I don't like heavy metal. But then he likes a bunch of stuff, but he listens to everything and then he'll go through phases. But
Yeah.
he's the only one. Guyana, my daughter loves music, but she likes K-pop. The only rock bands she likes are like Queen, Aerosmith. I think that's it. She knows Alice's music inside and out, but she's probably just sick of it.
Yeah.
So who knows? Hey,
No Soundgarden?
yeah. I don't know. She doesn't really listen to a lot of rock. She knows all of that because she grew up in my house, obviously.
Hmm.
So she's probably heard every rock band ever. One of her proud moments was when she was in middle school and her teacher would put something, who is this? She would say, oh, it's the Who, it's this, it's that. So she even said, well, that's Black Sabbath with Dio or Black Sabbath with Ian Gillan. She'd go, how do you know Deep Purple? How do you not know who Deep Purple is? I guess she thought everyone in the world lived her life.
That's funny. But we're talking about Queen, and hello, Catman. He's in the chat. He says, you're picking Queen, not King Diamond, Trouble, or Pentagram. Yes, we are picking Queen. Tonight's topic is Queen. Like I said earlier, we really haven't done.
You know
too
what?
many
I've
Queen
never listened
episodes.
to Pentagram.
Pentagram's good. They actually have a new
I've
album coming
never
out.
listened to
They're good. So do listen to them. I never listened to Trouble.
All right.
Should I? Of
See, I listen to Trouble. Yeah, because I do like early Black Sabbath.
course.
If you don't, okay. By the way, that picture of Tony put up of the Black Sabbath album with that stupid kid with the castle on his head.
That was me.
Wow.
I did that.
Oh, that was you? Okay. So while we wait for the other two guys to come on, we're making a list of our 5 favorite Queen albums. So
Yes,
should we start with our guest Queen?
Yes, 5 favorite Queen albums. We're gonna start with least favorite. All right, Cole. We'll do one at a time. So
All
start with
right.
your least favorite. Out
Yeah,
of the
Cole.
5.
Out of the 5 you
Least
picked.
favorite out of the 5 I picked.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll start least, and then
Uh,
number 1 pick will be the.
You're killing me.
I-
All right.
I know.
I guess
It's
jazz.
tough. It's tough.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go with jazz.
Jazz. Wow. Wow. And what is it about the album you like besides it's Queen that you can't use that answer? Okay. In your opinion, what makes?
I mean, the poster that came with the album was fantastic.
Is that an original or is that a remaster?
No, that's an original because I took them.
Oh, is it?
Oh.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, honestly, just the way they produce the album sounds amazing.
Yeah.
The drums are a lot more open on this album, especially compared to Queen One. Uh, the guitar sounds amazing. A lot of the harmonies Brian does throughout it, like was it Jealousy? He has a lot of that like harmony kind of,
Mhm.
sound.
Yeah.
I love that whole album. I
I
mean,
mean,
but out of the ones I picked, I feel like that's probably my least favorite. It's a
yeah.
lot of the songs on there, like Manny, Fun It, not not
Yeah.
great.
No, okay. All right. You win. That's a filler
I'm
track.
sorry.
That's Roger Taylor, isn't it?
That's the one problem with Queen. I mean, they write there's so many really great songs, and then they'll do a song like that, like Fun It, and it's just like, why did you put that on here? I mean, I guess just to, that's their British humor, I guess. I don't know, but sometimes it just doesn't make sense in there. I think there's a lot of songs that they should leave off some of these albums, but they don't. But I like Jazz. I really
Yeah,
like Jazz. I think it's a good album. Or rather, I wish he was here, or the co-host Greg. He hates Jazz, apparently. We were talking about this in our chat. And but there's a lot of really good songs. Jealousy is awesome. Bicycle Race, if you can't beat them, Let Me Entertain You, Don't Stop Me Now. I love that's like one of my top favorite Queen songs. I just, there's just so
Oh
many
yeah.
really good songs on there. And it sounds good, like you said,
Well,
Cole. I mean, it's a really good sounding album.
absolutely. And Let Me Entertain You used to be what one of their opening tracks. I mean, we'll give you grounds for divorce with great lyrics. Um, but it's funny. Cole and I have talked about the albums, and we're huge fans like you are, Wayne. And it always seems like me and him always pick on Roger Taylor songs as the worst
Right.
album on each album,
Yeah.
and there's no exception. Fun It is that's the very definition of filler, or let's pacify him by adding one of his songs on there. Oh,
Yeah. He does have a favorite song on another album, though. We'll get to that later.
okay. All
Uh,
right, cool pick. What's
all right.
your number 5, Wayne?
You want me to do mine, number 5? Where did I
Yeah.
did this backwards? Sorry. The Works.
Oh,
This is later in their
made
career too.
yeah, that made your top 5.
This
Wow.
made my top 5. I'm going because I made a playlist, so I'm going by
Yeah.
one of the albums had 7 songs, and most of these picks I had 6 songs that I really liked on it. So this is a album that has 6 songs. Radio Gaga. Let me see, what else did I pick on here? Here it is. Radio Gaga, Tear It Up, It's a Hard Life, I Want to Break Free, Keep Passing the Open Windows, and Hammer to Fall. That's a really heavy song. It's borderline like a metal song, really. There's a lot of good stuff on this album, and I'm not crazy about the album cover, but
Yeah, well, I like the album a lot. It's more popular, and now there's an example where Roger Taylor did a great job with songwriting because he wrote Radio Gaga, and the secret weapon to Queen, in my opinion, has always been the underrated and very, very restrained John Deacon, who is a secret weapon when it comes to songwriting.
Yeah.
He wrote "I Want to Break Free." Great album. Cole, what do you think of the album?
I love it. I mean, I really do have to agree with like Hammer to Fall. I mean, since considering they used it a ton live towards especially the end of their career, it's such a fun song. Not only one to play, but the solo and everything. And you hear, was it like the extended mix that they did mostly live?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic album. Yeah, that's great. I'm kind of like Manny said, surprised it made top 5 though.
It did. I'm surprised too, because there's other ones on this list that on my playlist. I mean, that could have been in this list, but I'm going by how many songs I picked off each album.
No, that totally makes sense. I mean, it's a great album, but the thing about Queen is it's not like AC/DC, or I won't mention my guy, but you know how they have a sound, Scorpions, Metallica, Rolling Stones, even John Cougar Mellencamp. It doesn't mean they don't stray from that, but they have a certain template that they stay in. Queen never did that.
No, they went all over the place, and that's why I kind of like the Works, because they took the things that they did on the previous albums, like added all those like electronic drum things and like that I didn't like on those previous albums, and they did it better on this album. They like perfected it here, I think. You know.
Oh, definitely. It's a fantastic album, in my opinion. So, all right. Anything in the chat before I go with my number five?
No, go ahead. What's your number five?
All right, Innuendo, the final, in my opinion, Queen album. I mean, I like Cosmo Rocks with Paul Rogers, but to me, that's not really the Queen I love. Nothing wrong with it. But Innuendo to me is the final Queen album. When it came out, I had no idea that Freddie Mercury was dying, let alone sick.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's more the emotional connection to it, because here's this guy who's dying.
Mm-hmm.
And he's facing life, death with bravery. I mean, and I think a lot of the songs, and they might have not been meant that way. There's a song on there. Oh God, what is the name of the song?
Who Wants to Live
Boys
Forever? No,
no,
I'm not
that's
thinking of
on
the wrong album.
the ballad. There's
these are the days of our lives.
yes,
that
was originally written by Roger Taylor. And I don't think it was written to have this sense of, a man summing up his life or looking back on it. I think it was Roger Taylor watching his kids grow up and thinking about that. But because of the circumstances the album took on, I think that song took on an emotional crescendo that maybe wouldn't have existed if that didn't happen,
Oh yeah.
But overall, I also like the fact that it was their first album in a long time. They kind of returned to that heavier style.
Mm-hmm.
Not in every song, but the song Innuendo. And it's one of the few albums where there's a guest star on it, because that Steve Howe plays that little flamingo guitar part on there.
Yeah.
And Freddie is just incredible. And then you mentioned the last song.
Show Must Go On.
Yeah. And his vocal on there, just the last line is just wow. Again, I'm not sure if he had died, I would feel that, but it's incredible performance. So that's number 5 for me.
I think you would still feel it. I mean, there's a lot of emotion on his vocals on this whole entire album, and you can hear it even in the videos. You could see that he's really sick and everything like that. And I remember the video for These Are the Days of Our Lives, just seeing him just really sick, and at the end he's like saying the last lines in that song. It's just like it's tough to watch, and it's tough to listen to this album. It's tough to listen to that other album too, the last Queen album with Freddie Mercury, which I didn't even listen to because it's just hard to listen to. But Innuendo is actually my number 4.
Well, Made, so, yeah, I like Made in Heaven, but I agree with you. The only criticism I have isn't a real criticism. A lot of those songs started out as solo albums, but Freddie was too sick to sit down and write.
That's why I can't. This is the last album.
Yeah, that's the way I count it. But Made in Heaven, the fact that exists is incredible.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's one of those albums that would have never been made if Freddie didn't die, because there's no way Mercury would have agreed to re-record songs and all of that. He did for that project, but if he hadn't been sick, that would have never happened.
Yeah.
So.
But there's, like I said, number 4, my number 4 pick, because I'm not going to go over this again, but since you picked it already, my number 4 is Innuendo. And I love the Innuendo song and the band Scanner. That's actually when that band Scanner covered that song on their album, Ball of the Damned, I think it's called. I thought they did a really great job. Ralph Sheepers actually sang the song too. So it really came out really good. And that made me also get more interested in Queen too, because I'm like, wow, they're into Queen. I really should check out Queen. So, but also like I'm Going Slightly Mad. Very strange song, but it's really cool. It's just kind of weird. Headlong, again, another really heavy song for Queen. Ride the Wind, I really like a lot. These Are the Days of Our Lives, very sad song, but it's good. And The Show Must Go On, just the awesome ending to that album. And yeah, that's why that made one of my top 5s, because it really is a good album.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
What do you think of Innuendo, Cole?
Yeah, what do you think, Cole?
Yeah, honestly, I really agree with what both of y'all said, especially going back to like that heavier form. You got like the Hitman on it. I mean, such a just a thick kind of riff that he plays on there. Really reminds me of Stone Cold Crazy. Same
Hmm.
thing with
Yeah.
that song, being a lot heavier than their later stuff. The show must go on. It's a headlong. I always love watching Brian May at the Braxton Academy sing that song. It's great performance. Yeah, no, that album's great though. Really, it is. It is a heavier. I guess one of their heavier albums that they did.
Yeah. And I remember too also when American Idol was starting out, and a lot of the people that were doing like rock stuff, they were doing that song, The Show Must Go On, and I thought some of them did a really good job of it. And I thought it was pretty cool. And that always reminds me of that show. Unfortunately, I hate that show, but every time I hear that song, I gotta think of American Idol.
Oh, that's a sad reality.
Yeah, but it is what it is. What's your number 4, Cole?
Number four. What is my number four? That's actually a good question. Um, I guess I'm gonna go with News of the World.
Okay.
I'm
Oh,
gonna go with
All
News of
right.
the World.
Not a bad pick.
Really, another album I do love a lot. I love a lot of their songs on there. Spread Your Wings, uh, We Are the Champions, We Will Rock You. But then you got, I'm trying to think of what songs are on that album.
Yeah, Sheer Heart Attack. You got All Dead, one of my favorites.
great song.
Spread Your Wings. The
That is a
band,
great song.
Blind Guardian covered that as well, and I was like, that's a really good cover. Fright from the Inside. I don't think I like that one. Get Down,
John
Make
Rod
Love.
Taylor again.
Yeah. Get Down, Make Love. Sleeping on the Sidewalk. Who Needs You? It's
Love
Late.
that song.
Another really good one. My Melancholy Blues, and that was a bonus track, We Will Rock You.
That's right. I do love Sleeping on the Sidewalk. I always love that kind of blues rhythm that Brian put together with that song.
Hmm.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
fun.
also a very cynical view of the music industry already. you know.
All right.
Um yeah, it's again, it's one of those albums. I remember the first time I heard it, I didn't love it. I was expecting to have like all anthems, and you get to We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions. Then it goes to what was it, Sleeping on the Sidewalk, um, Melancholy Blues, the last song on there,
Hmm.
which is not a favorite, but it is a favorite vocal track from Freddie because he sounds so different. Oh, man, those guys were just so diverse. And what's amazing is it still sounds like Queen no matter what they do. It's
Right.
like they never lost their identity.
Yeah.
And they all wrote, but they never wrote together. It's like they never sat in a room and wrote together. That must have been interesting, whoever the poor producer was, to pick out all these songs, because they all got along pretty well. But when it came to creatively, they fought tooth and nail for what goes on those albums and how it sounds or whatever. But
Right. Yeah.
good stuff. And
Yeah.
what's yours, Wayne?
Oh, my number 4 was Innuendo. So what's your number
Okay.
4?
Mine is Jazz, which we talked about already.
Mm.
I really like that album a lot. If it's possible for a platinum album to be underrated, that would be it.
Mm.
I like Bicycle Race because it's purposely corny. I mean, the lyrics, Jesus, I don't believe in Watergate, Superman, or Star Wars or whatever. He says great. John Deacon comes out of left field with if you can't beat him, join him. He takes a cliche and just makes it Queen like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Very poppy song. Just a great album. God, what was the lead single off that? Was it Bicycle Race, right? Bicycle. Wow.
I think it was.
What else? Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can't, I don't have the whole album in front of me, but the ones I picked was Jealousy, Bicycle Race, If You Can't Beat Them, Let Me Entertain You, Don't Stop Me Now. Was that a single?
Yeah, it should have been if it wasn't, but it's probably the most famous song on there, Don't Stop Me Now.
But that album's really good. I mean, I'm upset that it's not in my top 5 because I do really like it a lot. I wish Greg was here too because he doesn't like it and he hates
I know.
bicycle
I
and he
just
hates
don't get.
bicycle race. How do you not like bicycle race? I know it's corny, but it's a good song.
I think it's just British sense of humor from Freddie
Right.
Mercury. You know,
Right.
basically he says, I don't believe in Superman blood, but I want to ride my bicycle. That's all he wants to do in that song.
Yeah.
My favorite part is they have the little bells ringing,
Right at the end
and
of
then they go into that fast part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Good stuff.
It's good stuff. I know we're kind of all over the place, and you mentioned this one already, Cole. News of the World. That's my number 3 pick, and it's a great album. I love the album cover too. It's one of my favorite Queen album covers, by the way. They don't have many very good ones, but that's one of my favorites. I got the record too, but it's in that thing there.
Was Cole? Was that cover based on? Do you remember? Was it an old movie
I-
poster? Science fiction, something?
I thought it was from
I'm
something.
not sure.
Wasn't it
It
from
was-
something?
Maybe
There's-
I want to say Orson Welles, War of the Worlds, but they didn't have a freaking robot in that damn radio play. Oh no, but it's a cool album cover, especially on vinyl. You open it up, it's really cool.
There is
Yeah,
a reason.
there's only one thing with that. Well, I guess it's not just that album, but it's all of was it Hollywood Records that redid, a bunch of
Yeah, in
albums.
the '90s. Yeah,
They changed the album covers on all of them. They all the colors are wrong. If you look at them, it drives me mad when I look at 2 different copies of the same album. I've got 2. I've got a new and an original pressing of News of the World, and they
Hmm.
look totally different. All the colors and everything are just swap. Looks terrible.
That's
Well, I
funny 'cause
didn't
I've only
notice
seen the
that.
green one.
What do they do? Darken it or lighten it or what?
It's lightened, and they did it with a kind of magic and stuff too. All their albums.
Wow, I didn't notice because Hollywood Records, when they reissued those albums in the '90s, and they did that right before Freddie died. It was a big controversy because apparently Hollywood Records paid like $10 million in 1989 to get all those albums because Queen owned them. And overseas, that probably was a bargain, but in the United States, people are going, "Oh my God, you paid too much money." Well, the last laugh was on them because Hollywood Records made their money 10 times over before the contract ran out. But that was the only way to get them. And then they would put these bonus tracks, and sometimes they put like shitty things on there, like Day of the Races. There's a Rick Rubin mix
Yeah.
that nobody in their right mind will ever listen to but once. But
That's like on the
Yeah.
back of this. What album was that? On the back of one of these. This one. It says written by Rick Rubin.
and that is an accurate description.
Yeah.
Ruined is an accurate description. No.
And I didn't notice, but the robot's name is Frank, apparently.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cole, why didn't you tell me that?
That's what it says on Wikipedia.
Manny, look behind you. Manny, look at the Popco figure of Frank. It says his name right there.
Let me see. He's got it over here.
I had no idea. It was the first time I ever heard of that.
Yeah, there it is, Frank. Yeah,
Frank.
I didn't know that.
Good old
And
Frank.
I've had that album for 300 years.
I had no idea.
Oh, almost as old as you've been around, maybe.
All right. Almost, Cole. Not quite. I'm a lot older than
Not
that
quite.
album. Yeah.
Cole,
So
what's
who's
your number?
next, man?
Cole, number 3.
Queen one.
Queen 1.
Ah,
Queen one.
Now, what's
Yeah.
good about that album? I mean, I only like 3 songs off of that one. I wanted to like that one more, but
really?
yeah. Oh no, sorry. I'm
I am
4
shocked,
4 songs.
actually.
The ones I liked.
I'm
was
really
Keep It-
shocked with
4 songs, man. That's not too bad. Keep Yourself Alive, Doing All Right, Great King Rat, and Liar. I like.
Okay, so almost the entire first side of the album.
Yeah. The rest of it can just
So-
ignore.
the side 2 you're not into.
Guess not.
No.
You don't like Jesus? Son and daughter? None of
No,
that?
nobody should like Jesus. oh, the song. Oh, the song.
Oh, well, I wasn't talking about the song, but I mean, if you want. The only one on that whole album I don't like is the Seven Seas Arrive, the first version of it before they put it
why
on
did
Queen
they add
2.
that on there? It's not done.
Yeah,
It's
I wonder that because it's what 20 seconds or something
yeah.
or a minute.
It's like a teaser for like the next album. But I don't. Is that a thing that they did back in the day? Bands?
No, that's the only album I've ever had that has that. That's it.
Strange.
Well, it shows what confident bastards they are. Like, we're gonna tease you for. They didn't know they were gonna make another album because they had no idea how many that was gonna sell. But here they are.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's what you could have if you buy this album.
Well, Cole, I'm really surprised you don't like it more, Wayne. Um, son and daughter. I love the opening line. I want to make a what is it? Make your son and daughter all rolled into one. What else Freddie says? It's something about, you find a cork just wouldn't fit. It's good stuff, man. It's probably the album why they were called a heavy metal band for that era because it's the heaviest album.
Yeah.
They all bitched about the production, but I like the production on it. I like that muddy sound, that not so
Yeah,
clear sound.
it
It's almost
sounds
got
fun.
like a live sound to it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought the remix or whatever you call it that they did recently. I like it because the songs are good, but my ears maybe are too attuned to what I've been listening to the last 30, 40 years. But I just didn't think it was good. And there was a song on there where they pitch perfect Freddie Mercury's voice.
Mm.
To me, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, the
There's
night
not
comes
a
down.
better. Yeah, exactly. There's not. I can't think of a better rock vocalist than Freddie Mercury. Honestly, as
Mm.
good as Robert Plant, Ian Gillan, we can go down the list. Freddie Mercury could sing pop. He could sing rock. He could sing Seaside Rendezvous, whatever the hell that is. But he could do it all. Not only what could he sing, but Brian May was a good singer.
Oh yeah.
And I'll bitch about Roger Taylor's songs sometimes, but he
He's a
has
good
a
singer,
cool,
too.
raspy voice.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
definitely.
very cool.
Who approved to do the remixes? The band?
Two of the guys, because John Deacon doesn't really do much, but John
Yeah.
Deacon has to sign off on it, so I'm assuming all
Man.
three of them.
Because I don't think Freddie would have approved that.
No,
remix.
Freddie was not into looking back.
Especially tuning his voice. I don't think he would want that.
No, that would have been bullshit. Yeah. I don't even think he liked greatest hits. Like when they released that greatest hits in the 80s.
Mm.
Freddie, my understanding is Freddie would have nothing to do with it. He just said, well, you guys do it. He wouldn't even look at it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we didn't hear what is Cole like most about that album.
Yeah, Cole. Sorry about that,
We
Cole.
just started talking over you.
Yeah, God, fucking talk over me, assholes. Jeez. No, I know, Manny. I know you like to be. You like to talk.
Fuck.
No,
Anyway,
no. Honestly, it is interesting to hear other people talk about this album and hear different perspectives of it because I love it. I mean, it's funny how on this album, starting off, Brian May had a little Fox fuzz pedal, and that's what he used for most of the distortion sounds on that album. And a lot of people, I guess, including him, he's from what I've heard, he didn't like that sound. I think it sounds great. It's real dark, kind of. I mean, the way he used it, at least, sounds amazing. The drums, everyone shits on the drums from Roger because the way they produced them sounded like pancake.
Yeah.
That's all it was just there's nothing on them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for a lot of their songs on that album, it actually works in its favor compared to hearing the remaster where I know they fixed some of the guitar stuff and some of the drums too. It doesn't sound the same. It sounds all kind of open. There's no tightness to the band on the new release of it. To me, it doesn't sound as well put together. This I love the way it sounds. The phasing effect for "Keep Yourself Alive," the way he does all those multiple harmonies over just that one line for the solo. It's amazing. Anything 3-part harmony wise, he did. And being their first album, I mean, they hit it right on the mark like that. I mean,
Yeah.
what a great album to hit off with. I mean, damn, it's a great album. I love it.
I call it like David Bowie meets Led Zeppelin. I mean, in a way, I don't think they sound anything like David Bowie or Led Zeppelin.
No.
Um, but I do, that's the only comparison I can come up with. It's funny. Freddie Mercury was a huge Jimi Hendrix fan.
Yeah.
And when Brian May first met Freddie Mercury, Freddie would work at these clothing stores and then earn enough money to go follow Hendrix when he toured Europe. Anyway, when Hendrix died, Brian May says that Freddie was so unconsolable that they couldn't get him out of his room for, it seemed like an eternity. He was, I always thought that was interesting, you know. But I do agree with Cole. I like the production on it that Queen doesn't like. I don't like what they tried doing. Like you said, they hit it right out of the park. And what's even amazing is you go from Queen to Queen 2, which, we'll talk about later. It just, just how different it is, Queen, the first Queen one is probably the only one stylistically where they weren't all over the place, songwriting wise. It kind of, stayed in the hard rock.
It's a hard rock album. Yep.
Yeah.
No
yeah,
experimenting. It's just straight to the point.
Yeah. And Cole brought up another good point already from day one about those harmonies, but they were more subtle here. They were a lot more subtle, unlike Queen 2, where they were anything but subtle. Anyway, great choice.
Look at the first song on Queen 2, and immediately you're hit with this giant wall of harmonies right off the bat.
Oh, it's incredible. The production on Queen 2, which, spoiler alert's my number one choice, is nowhere near.
Do your number 3 yet? You're just
all right. I'll wait till
too late now.
All right, but anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. All right.
What's
Who's
your number
next?
3? What's your number 3?
A Night in the Opera. That was the first Queen album I actually heard all the way through. I stole the tape from my brother, and I couldn't stop listening to it because I was so amazed. You go from the first song, Death on Two Legs, which wouldn't be considered heavy metal or even hard rock in 2025, but 1975, it certainly was close. And then you go from that to Cole, do you have the album in front of you?
It should be next to you, though.
I'm in love with my car is the next song, right? No. Lazy on a Sunday Afternoon.
Oh, there you go. So you go from Death on Two Legs to Lazy on the Sunday Afternoon. Almost like this. Yeah, I like it because it's so out there. Right. And then you go to the Roger Taylor song, I'm in Love with My Car, which that is one of the few accurate things in that movie about Queen, that Brian May and John Deacon gave him such shit for I'm in Love with My Car, but Freddie Mercury loved it. I don't know why. So
that's one of my favorite songs. That's actually the only Roger Taylor song I probably like. I don't know, but that is a really good song.
Oh man, great. And live, it's incredible because he's on the drums and he's, singing. Yeah, good stuff. Man. But that album is so stylistically all over the place, yet it sounds great, sounds concise. Like Extreme, who I do like. Do you remember they tried to be like Queen, where they would do different styles? To me, that sounded disjointed. Doesn't mean it wasn't good. But with a Queen, it just sounded natural. Probably because that's who they all were.
That's what they always did. Yeah, they always threw something in there.
Yeah. Anyway, good stuff. So that's my number 3.
Yeah. Stands in the chat. He says, "Where are the rest of the hooligans?" I don't know. Who cares, really? I mean, the only ones that matter are here. So
yeah.
But
so what do you two think of A Night in the Opera?
Go ahead, Cole.
I was going to say you can go first.
All right, whatever. I love it. It's actually my number 1 pick since you already revealed yours, Manny. So I'm just going to reveal my number 1, but that's my number 1 pick. Death on Two Legs. I'm in love with my car. You're my best friend. 39. That's the Brian May song. That's a really great song. I love that song.
Oh, that's I did not know that that was about space travel. When I was a kid, I thought he was talking about people that landed, immigrants in 39. I don't know why. I had
Yeah.
no idea it was about space
I
travel.
didn't either. You just told me.
Great song.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Didn't realize
I don't
that.
know that.
Lou says start without me. We're about almost done, but
Yeah.
I'll let him come up.
Okay, Lou. We'll do what you say.
All right, Lou.
Gotta redo it all. Just
Yeah, we'll
for
redo the whole entire show. But I could do without Seaside Rendezvous. And the Prophet song is cool, but I don't like that middle part where it's just Freddie and he's like repeating all these different lines and stuff like that. I think that really distracted from that whole entire song. Should have been erased.
Yeah, it's kind of funny they did that because, then that begins side two, or what would have been, and then side two ends with Bohemian Rhapsody, where
Mm.
he does that same thing, but
Yeah.
about 5,000 times better,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. So I
Oh.
think they should have cut that out of that song because that's it's a really good song. It's just that part kills it for me. You know, Love of My Life is good, and of course Bohemian Rhapsody, just a great song. And God Save the Queen is a cool one too.
Yeah, I actually like the Prophet song. Though I remember critics saying it should have been called the Prophet song, Profit,
Hmm.
because people,
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know, critics really had it in for those guys for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh.
What do you think, Cole?
No, I love it. I mean, same thing with the Prophet song. I love the kind of heavy sound they had on that song too, going into it. Death on Two Legs. But that it's funny how much that whole album waves between just totally different songs. Each one's like
It's yeah.
completely different than the last,
Yeah.
and it still works just fine.
Mhm.
It doesn't feel out of place, at least to me. It doesn't essentially fuck the whole rest of the album with one weird song hits it, and then you go into this really great one, and then really shitty or something.
Hmm.
It's all pretty even, except for God Save the Queen. I skip that shit because there's nothing to it. At
Yeah,
least for
yeah,
me.
that's good. Yeah, I mean, I guess Brian May wanted to do his guitar orchestra or something with that, as he used to call it. I think it's incredible. Like you point out, Cole, you go from Death on Two Legs to um, Lazing on a Sunday afternoon. And then you go then to I'm in love with my car. And then, I mean, and inside too, it's got, what's that one song where, and you just call me cheese? Golly darn.
Good
Oh,
What's it-
good
what, Sweet
company.
Lady?
Yeah, Sweet Lady. Yeah.
That's on
Which I
side
think
one.
was written. Yeah, I like it too, but I think that's written by Brian May. And it sounds like it's some weird open key or something, but I'm just amazed how well these guys. I can't think of another band that not everyone's a songwriter. That's what's incredible. Because you're my best friends on there again.
Mhm.
John Deacon, underrated songwriter, just a great little pop hook about his wife. Um, Incredible. And they also, if you look on the album, they all play different instruments, all the time. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Just incredible band. Oh, an incredible album.
It is a very incredible album. And like, it's like the title says, A Night at the Opera. It's just all over the place, but it all works.
Yeah, definitely.
What are you up to? Number 2 now?
Number 2, man.
What's your number 2, Cole?
All right, I'm getting into the weird albums that people don't talk about, or not that much at least. Miracle.
A Miracle.
That's my number
Wow.
2.
Go ahead, Cole.
Love
I
the
want to hear
Miracle.
this. Yeah. Why is that your number 2,
I
man?
personally,
Yeah.
I I personally don't think there's a bad song on that album. Personally, to
Really?
me, I mean,
Uh-huh.
I love kind of the way they, especially with the first 2 songs, how they just kind of go together. But then you go from that to the Miracle, which was a great song, and then I Want It All. It's got just a powerful riff throughout the entire song,
Yeah.
and Then you get into the weird one like The Invisible Man, which has that really just amazing. The music video is hilarious. I love watching it. Just Brian on a skateboard with a bunch of other Brians in one room. Um,
I don't think I've ever
and
seen.
it's just a fun album. It's not like real slow downbeat or anything. It's all high up energy. Pretty much the entire album, or at
Hmm.
least most of
Is
it.
that it?
And
Is that a John Deacon song? Because it sounds like it, that bass line is so infectious, you know. And the album gives credit to all of them. It just
Yeah.
that is the only album where it's all songs written by. But I always wondered if that was a John Deacon song. Yeah, it's also, you know, here's my theory on this song, and see if I'm right. If you look at the lyrics to Invisible Man, since you mentioned it, you know, I've never been a boy or a girl. I always wondered if he's talking about his sexuality, like I'm the invisible man, or it could just be Freddie Mercury is like just being Freddie Mercury and having a good time. Because, you know, if you Mercury always avoided stuff like politics, and social issues, not because he didn't have a viewpoint,
Hmm.
but he always felt like, oh, a rock star telling me about the world, how dull. You know, he just thought that was like bullshit. So he
Yeah.
didn't do that kind of stuff. So, but I always wondered if that's maybe what's about, or it could just be about an invisible man. You know,
It could be,
well,
but it's probably just the
you'll never
Invisible Man.
guess who wrote it.
Ew,
It's Taylor. Roger wrote that
really?
song. Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so it's not about
I
anything.
would have never guessed. I would have never guessed just because of that bass line, you know.
Hmm.
What else do you like about the album, Cole? Because it's the most poppiest in a way, you know, if you think about it. Especially side two.
Oh,
Side two's got great songs, but you know.
I do love Breakthrough on the second side. Again, the whole album is a closer of a pop album out of all the things they did. But it's just really upbeat the whole time. You know, you got the bass line going throughout the entire song, and you hear, I think it's the second verse, you hear Brian come in doing the same, lead line as the bass. And the way they have the solo in there, and without the entire album, it's the same thing. It flows so evenly throughout the entire time you're listening to it. And it's got, just to me, again, like I said, every song on there I love. There's not a bad song on it. To me.
Cool.
Uh,
I
I
only
don't know.
picked
No,
I
that's
only
good.
picked four off of it. The Miracle, I Want It All, Scandal, and Was It All Worth It?
That's quite a few songs for such a short album there, Wayne.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I don't like a lot of, because Roger Taylor's the drummer, and why would you replace him with like electronic drums and stuff like that? I don't get a lot of that stuff that they've done, especially on this album and another album. They did that a lot too. On
Yeah, it's incredible because
Hot Space, another album.
Roger Taylor is actually an incredible, well, you have to be an incredible musician to play with those three guys, but he's
Yeah.
actually an incredible drummer.
He is,
but he
and it
doesn't
always
get a lot
bothered him. No, he doesn't get any credit for anything.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize this either. His son is in the Darkness. Did you know that?
I did. I read that recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought he was all you used to tour with the Queen, Adam Lambert, because now that Queen, which isn't really Queen, they have like two drummers, Roger Taylor and someone else. And
Oh, really?
I don't know, yeah.
No,
And yeah, I mean, that stage is now crowded. They got like a keyboard player. I mean, all these people they didn't need before. Now they got to have them all up
well,
there.
you gotta what you don't have now, and what you had back in the day, you don't have now. So you have to replace that with things to make it seem like it's all, still the same. But that just shows you.
know,
That
but
just shows you
I
what the
was-
what four guys did. Before we had all this crap that we have now, we can go on tour with all these backing tracks and all this stuff. They didn't need that back then.
No, and it's amazing. You listen to Queen Live Killers. My understanding, they didn't go back and fix anything. Probably because you couldn't convince Freddie to go in there. See, there you go. Your point, Wayne. You couldn't convince him to go in there and overdub.
Yeah.
But yeah, like like the harmonies that they would do, or you couldn't tell live that they changed things. Obviously they did, because you can't replicate that stuff.
Right.
I mean, my favorite was their solution for Night in the Opera. We'll just leave the stage and play the record while that section goes on. I thought that was kind of, that was a great solution.
Well, at least I didn't try to fake it. What's your number two, Manny?
Queen One, which we've talked about already, was my number
Mhm.
two. I like almost every song on the album except Jesus, though. It kind of makes
Of
me
course, you wouldn't like
laugh.
Jesus. You.
Well, I mean the lyrics. Let's
Atheist?
go down to see Jesus. I think I think they were being a little sacrilegious there, but I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
It actually
If
is
I-
a pretty good song.
If I change the name to Satan, then you'd like it, wouldn't you?
Oh, it'd be my number one pick.
It'd be,
No,
yeah,
it'd be like the greatest song ever written. Are you kidding? But,
there you go.
but we've already talked about Queen One, so that was my number one pick.
All right. That's your number two pick.
Number
Oh,
two.
no, that
I'm
was your
sorry.
number. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mine number two, Sheer Heart Attack.
Oh, I'm kicking myself. I didn't pick that. Continue.
How could you not pick this album? So many great songs. Brighton Rock, Killer Queen, Tenement Funster, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Flick of the Wrist, Now I'm Here, what a really great song, and Stone Cold Crazy. What really made me like that song was hearing Metallica do a cover of that song.
Did you hear the Metallica version first?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I guess I said that if Metallica likes Queen, I gotta like Queen. You know
what? I should change my number one to that, but I'm not going to. But
you don't have to. But it's a really awesome album. I think it's really good. It's a lot of heavy stuff on here. They sound really heavy on this album. It's borderline metal stuff on here. So it's a really great one.
And they still stylistically change all over the place, but not so. I mean, Brighton Rock has nothing in common with the next song after that.
No, not at all. But it all works. It all works with each other.
Incredible. Cole, what do you think?
I love it. Same, like you said, it flows evenly. Every song you listed off of that album. Actually, I can't think of a bad. No, I was gonna say a bad song on that album, but yeah, it's Stormtroopers and Stilettos. That song sucks.
Yeah.
I don't. That's one Brian May song I can't stand.
Yeah, it's kind of almost throwaway. It's kind of weird little song that he threw on there. Though in the Lap of the Gods Revisited, that used to be the closing song. What a great song. I can't forget. I'm not going to try to do it. I can't. If I could sing that good, I wouldn't be doing this podcast. I'd be on tour. Anyway.
I don't know. I saw your Alice in Chains karaoke.
Yeah, and I'm surprised you haven't kicked me off the show yet. Anyway. But man, what a killer album, dude. Wow.
It's a good one. All right. Cole, number one.
All right. This is where everyone talks shit because I picked this one.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Thinking. Why'd you come
trying
on
to get
here?
Lou in here.
Yeah.
Where the fuck's Lou? I know he likes this album.
I'd rather have him in here. Jeez, God. No, that album's not as bad as people.
No, that's a great album, but number one, go ahead. I want to hear this. Go ahead, Paul.
Well, I guess for me, it really when I listened to the album, it was a good time in my life. So that does contribute emotionally. I will say that's part of why I love this album. But you got One Vision on there. Friends Will Be Friends. I wouldn't like to say Don't Lose Your Head because that song's not that one. I don't like. I don't think many people like that, if anybody.
Speaking of the devil, hold on a minute. Oh God! I was hoping that we could get through the whole show without this guy.
Which guy is it? Which one?
It's Lou.
The legendary Lou.
I was hoping we would make the whole show without him.
Yeah,
but we did not. Oh my God! And look at these disheveled. It looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Not disheveled. It's my hair now.
And this is my hair now.
This is my hair.
I've always had a huge forehead. Actually, Erin pointed that out. My wife, when we were dating, she was like, "Wow, you have a very big forehead." I'm like, "Yeah, I have a 5 head. I know."
What
Okay,
a
bad
lovely,
joke.
But she married
what a
you.
lovely
She
woman.
married you anyway. See, size does matter, Lou.
Yeah. By the way, guys, I'm gonna have to keep a NPR style voice tonight because Anna's sleeping next door and Aaron is out with the Girl Scout moms tonight doing a Galentine's night.
Wow,
Well,
that's okay. We're almost done. So,
we're almost done, Lou. So the way we're going to end it is you're going to pick your five.
well,
Tell us why.
Cole, you finish your thing about
Yeah,
your.
he didn't finish his kind of magic.
Let him finish. I didn't want to.
Wait, did you start the show at 8 o'clock?
Yeah,
Yeah, dude, you
Oh.
weren't on.
Well, sorry guys, but daddy priorities take
it's
place.
okay. That's all right.
That's
You're here
all
now.
right.
That's all that
dude.
matters.
Yeah. Any man with a forehead that big can come on late anytime.
You're a good man, thank you.
You're welcome.
I did pick my top five, but I'll continue afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, we want to hear your top five albums.
Okay, but what about Cole? Wasn't he saying something?
Yeah, he's about to go back to number one, by the way. Cole, tell him what your number one album is, because Lou just got on.
Kind of Magic. I picked a Kind of Magic for my favorite.
Cole, I knew you were my a guy that I respect and appreciate because that's my favorite Queen album.
Wow.
Okay.
It is the best to me, and including this freak that I have, which is like the single, and this was a radio, I guess, promo one for Iron Eagle with the worst song I think I've ever heard from Queen, Blurred Vision. That sucks. I don't know why they had to remix One Vision, and then it's all like just disco. Like there's no vocals, I don't think, either on it. I think it's all
Really?
just
I don't think I've ever heard it.
music.
Chalk it down to it's a European thing. Leave it alone.
There you go. But yeah, no, I love this album. I love everything about it. Again, it's a great time in my life anytime I listen to it too, but just the guitar on it's amazing. Hearing all of Brian's clean sound on Kind of Magic on the song and his the solo work on One Vision doing the little tapping part, phenomenal. I mean, I love that whole album, even though there are some songs on there that not my favorite, but well,
But the ones that
that's my
stick
number
out
one.
really.
Well, Lou, since you're on, and he said that's his favorite, and you said that's your favorite, why is it your favorite?
Okay, so we always need to go to the Wayback Machine.
That's fine.
So my brother had Live Killers on cassette, but I never had a chance. I never listened to it because it was never in his box of cassettes that was in in his room. It was always in a box of cassettes that was in the kitchen closet, and I couldn't reach it then. So my first exposure to Queen was seeing the Bohemian Rhapsody video 1985 86 on U68, which was that UHF music video channel that was in New York City and New Jersey. So other than that, really kind of out of sight, out of mind about Queen until Freddie died in 91. And then Wayne's World brought Bohemian Rhapsody back. And I'm like, this band has to have other songs. So for Christmas that year, 1992, I got Queen's Greatest Hits on CD, which I loved it. I mean, it had the classic Queen songs, but it was classic Queen and Queen rocks that really made me a Queen fan. Like, for example, Queen Rocks has they have the Rocks version of "I Can't Live Without You" from Innuendo. Now, I don't like the version that's on Innuendo, but I love the version that's on Rocks. Fast forward to when I finally watched the Highlander film around 1998 for the first time, and I heard Queen, and I was like, "This is Queen. I love this band now." So it was, it was the sword and sorcery element with the over the top, bombast and ballyhoo of their music that just combined together, made for such a cheesy 80s epic masterpiece. And I just loved it. And yes, I'll say it. Queen is cheesy and cheese is good because everybody likes pizza, even vegans. So that's the reason why A Kind of Magic really stuck out to me as why it's my favorite, because it was a point of time where I watched Highlander, where it made me appreciate the music, and it really broadened my my scope of Queen being a over the top theatrical epic rock band. So that's what made me love it that much.
Very cool.
Very good.
But would you like me to discuss my 5 through 2 as well?
Yeah, you might as well because I think we're all done, right? Manny already gave up his number one, right?
Well, my number one's Queen too, and
Queen
my
two. Oh
phone's
yeah, we
about
didn't
to
really talk
die.
about. Okay, dude, Queen
Well,
two.
my
Yeah,
yeah,
so
my
you guys discuss.
well, my phone's about to die, so I'll discuss it really quickly. It's a great album. I love everything about it, and I love how they use the vocal harmonies. It's very heavy, and the only song I don't like on there was "Loser in the End," where Roger Taylor talks, wrote a song about his goddamn mother. Anyway, how his mom's gonna be a loser in the end because he leaves home. That is so un-rock and roll, and that, sir, is my number one Queen album. Queen two.
Aren't you a Cars fan? Drives like very sad, but that's a great song.
I am a Cars fan, but at least he didn't write about his mother. Anyway,
It's true. He wrote about a chick with a drug habit. I digress.
exactly. That's rock and roll. Oh,
I like that album. Ogre Battle's really good. The Fairy Fellers Master Stroke, pretty cool song.
it's a great.
The March of the Black Queen, Funny How Love Is, and the best song on the album, Seven Seas of Rye.
Great album.
Good stuff.
My favorite Queen album. Period.
What about you, Cole? Quick, before Manny's phone dies. Did you like Queen
What?
2? What do you like about Queen 2?
Oh, I'm just listening to the entire Kind of Magic album in my head now. Um,
How that happened?
or Queen 2, both are good. I love that album. I mean, you hear, listen to it. Again, I come back to Synchronicity of the Time harmonies. I love Brian's harmonies throughout every album that they did.
Yeah. Yep.
And yeah, no, I love that album. It's great. Every song on there.
Very cool. All right, Lou. Let's do your other 4 albums.
Okay.
Guys, I'm getting off here because my phone's about to die.
No problem, Manny. Take care.
All right,
Uh,
bye.
By the way, before I do that, I just really want to plug Cole's YouTube channel. Red Guitar. I'm sorry, Cole. Red Guitar. What?
Red Special Forever.
Red Special Forever. Yes, Red Special Forever. This guy pulls many great covers out of God knows what magic is out there, and does a great job with them. I enjoy his videos. I subscribe to his channel. I comment, like them. The biggest honor for me was that Cole actually sent a video of him playing the instrumental off the first Severed Angel album to me, and Cole, I felt incredibly honored that another guitar player would actually play something I wrote. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. That was an incredibly humbling experience. Thank you.
Thank you. And I put the sticker. There you go, right on the framer.
Very cool.
Very cool.
As it should
There
be.
you go. Thank you.
So my number 5 favorite Queen album is the debut. I do love it. The standout tracks for me are Keep Yourself Alive, and of course my favorite on the album, which is Liar. And it's just great to see from their starting point how they evolve later on. 4th favorite album, I would say Sheer Heart Attack. It starts out with Brighton Rock, and that's over the top. I mean, Queen is over the top, and to start out an album with Brighton Rock is just a perfect way. Of course, you got the classic Killer Queen on there. Now I'm Here, and Stone Cold Crazy. I love Dear Friends. Favorite song for me off the album is Now I'm Here. It's too bad the song Sheer Heart Attack is not on this album.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would have fit.
It's kind of like Def Leppard's On Through the Night being on High and Dry.
Which, by the way, go to Ratside Review and Friends on streaming media and listen to mine and Wayne's cover. It kicks ass.
Yeah.
Number 3 would be Queen 2. Love the album, but one song is my favorite on that entire album. Number 2 would be Seven Seas of Rye, but to me, Ogre Battle beats it by a hair.
Yeah,
I just love the bombast of it. And second favorite, and I warned Wayne before the show took air. I said I'm probably going to be the most basic bitch out of everybody here. I gotta go with Night at the Opera.
Most of us did. The only one that did not is Cole.
Yeah.
Really? Where
Yeah.
was Night at the Opera for you? Was that in your top 5 at all?
It wasn't.
No,
Nothing.
wasn't up there.
Really?
I had weird ones. I had Jazz, News of the World, Queen One, A Kind of Magic, and The Miracle. I put The Miracle up there.
I will
So
say
those beat A Night at the Opera.
Later Day Queen
don't know.
has some of their best material. I mean, I Want It All. To me, that's a great song. And Off Innuendo. I mean, even though for all intents and purposes, Those Were the Days of Our Lives is a new agey pop song, I still love it, but The Show Must Go On. I'm sorry. Goosebumps every time you hear that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's good stuff. They have so many good songs. Like I said, I made a playlist. I have set 62 songs. It's over 4 hours of listening to Queen.
That sounds about right.
alone. I mean, you don't need more than that. I mean, obviously we will have more than that if you'd like more songs, but you don't need that many.
By the way,
Because there's a lot of songs that are kind of like,
I'm not sure if anyone here knows, but Brian May is a producer of one of the funniest parody heavy metal bands that have ever existed. Do you remember that show, that BBC comedy, The Young Ones? Okay, no one does. Okay, so three of them formed a comedy metal group called Bad News, and Brian May was the producer on it. It is on streaming media. It's hilarious.
I'll check it out.
They do a horrible cover of Bohemian Rhapsody, which is hilarious, and it's done on purpose.
Yeah, never heard of it. And another thing never heard of, and I was listening to the Queen's albums the last few days. They did a collaboration with Michael Jackson that I had no idea about.
I don't think that was ever released.
It wasn't. It's a bonus track on one of the albums.
I don't think I've heard it.
Isn't it? It's on Queen Forever, isn't it? Not the album,
I
the
don't.
greatest hits or something.
It just came up on with the shuffle thing I was doing, but yeah, I mean it was cool. I don't. It shouldn't have been released. There was really no reason for Michael Jackson to be on it. It was very strange hearing his voice on the song because it kind of just came out of nowhere. And then they both duetted towards the end, but it didn't really do anything. Like it wasn't like, wow, this is like an awesome collaboration. It just was like, eh. I can see why they didn't put it on anything, but I didn't even know that happened. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I have to listen to it. I never got around to it. I am an MJ fan, both Jackson 5 and his solo stuff. So, maybe I like it. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Yeah. I'm so used to hearing Michael Jackson with Toto. I don't know if I could get used to Michael Jackson with Queen.
Yeah, it's strange. And at one point too, they both sounded kind of the same. So it was interesting. It was an interesting hearing that for the first time.
Really, MJ sounded like Freddie?
Unless it was him doing the same, but it did sound like it was Freddie and him together, and it just sounded very similar to each other. Not all the time, but a lot of it. It was interesting. Just take a listen. I wish I would know what the name of the song was.
To be quite honest, I feel like the only other rock singer who is even close to Freddie in range and technique, and I know you're not a fan of this band, Wayne, and I respect that, but Klaus Meine of the Scorpions. Like I heard him do a cover of Love of My Life, and I got chills listening to it because I'm just like, holy crap, it's like a Germanic Freddie. I mean, he sang it so beautifully. So
the song is called "There Must Be More to Life Than This." That's the song.
That was a song off of Freddie's solo album.
Yeah. Check that out.
Mr. Bad Guy. Yeah, well, that's a great song. I don't like it with Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like not needed. I don't think it's needed at all.
By the way, I'm so happy that the Starfleet EP finally got released on streaming.
Starfleet.
Starfleet was a Japanese puppet show that was huge in Britain in like the early 80s, and somehow Brian May was like its biggest fan, and he did an EP of songs based on the show. On the song Starfleet, he's got like friends of his from like other famous bands. There you go.
There you go.
And believe it or not,
box set one.
And Eddie Van Halen actually does one of the solos on the title track. So it's cool to hear Brian and Eddie on a track finally.
Yeah, that's I didn't know that happened either. We're just finding out so much information tonight. It's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's why you people tune in to learn things.
I'm also a wellspring of useless information, so I can't help it.
But Cole, this was a lot of fun. I'm glad you came on the show. We actually got you on the show this time, the whole entire show instead of just in the background. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm glad you came on, and we got to hear about your love for Queen.
Yeah, it's actually before takeoff. It's funny. I can thank Manny for this. This is one thing that really got me into Queen. This Russian bootleg that he gave my father, and then my father stopped using it, so I took it. And that's actually how I listened to all the Queen songs or Queen albums together was through
Okay.
this weird Russian bootleg that I've never seen anywhere else.
Right. I've
So
never seen
this
that
one.
either. That's pretty cool.
What
Was
is it? A
got all the
compilation
songs?
album?
It's like,
It's got all their albums total on it on one CD.
Oh, it's it's like a CDR of like MP3 files. Oh, it's really
Yep,
cool.
essentially.
You know, I
So
did
it's
I've bought a couple of Russian bootleg CDs, and all I can say is this. Yeah, I felt weird buying them, but I'm a collector. I don't care.
okay, I got a couple myself, so it is what it is. Some albums you just can't get anymore. So
No, no. And there's always the big debate about physical media. It's like, is it okay to buy, contraband, illegal product? I guess it depends on. I better be careful. This is a very tumultuous time we're living in, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut at this point, Wayne.
Oh shit! They just came in. They're coming here to arrest me now. I gotta go.
It's the fuzz.
I have 2 bootleg CDs. They're gonna get me.
Yeah, I don't think the feds are going to bust me for my bootleg Pantera, Glamterra CDs.
They might. They might. You never know.
I'll give them my Quiet Riot ones. I already have the official releases. Randy Rhodes is a hero of mine, Cole. So,
well, Cole, hopefully there's other bands that you like, and maybe come on another show at some point.
yeah, if you guys ever do Soundgarden, I'd love to hop in with some Soundgarden
Definitely.
or just Chris Cornell in general.
The youth of today makes me proud.
Yep, that's right. I love Soundgarden, so that will definitely happen. I'll put that on the list. I have a list here, and I will put that on there.
And it might be a burden in your hand, I know, but if you guys do it,
Hey, look, at least if he hangs himself, he'll do it with the pretty news.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
I don't know where my list is, but I'll add it to the list. Anything else going on?
Well, guess what, Wayne? I got in touch with an old friend of ours last week.
Who's that?
Do you remember Miss Tara from the Just the Cheese Please podcast?
Oh, yeah.
Well, she sends you her greetings and tidings of good joy.
Mm-hmm.
And she says that she would love to jump on another Rat's Eye Review podcast with us and shoot the shit. So I said, okay, let me talk to the big cheese.
The boss, the big boss. All right. Yeah, that's fine. Any idea what she wants to do?
I don't know, but I hope it's not an emo band.
We'll see. But yeah, that's fine. That's cool. She can also message me. Whatever. That's good. Anything else?
No, just Severed Angels' new album's coming out March 28th on No Life Till Mother Records, When Eternity Ends. The first video will be available for viewing very soon as I iron out a couple of kinks in the final edit. Because knowing Wayne, he's a slave driver. A very fair person, and just want to make sure that I do this right.
Oh God, I'm crying on the inside.
He's giving me the keys to the Rolls Royce, and I don't want to, or Ferrari. I don't know, whatever you value most. So I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be okay. I can't wait to see it. I'll just make sure I haven't eaten.
He says desperately.
But all right, I guess that's it. Thanks everybody for watching. Join us next week. I don't know what we're gonna do, but I have a whole list of things that I'm gonna make these guys do, and we're gonna do all of them.
Yeah, we can't just talk about Iron Maiden anymore, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of old.
No more AC/DC. No more. We can probably do some AC/DC.
We love those bands, but it's just okay.
Yeah, it's enough.
it's like the old stereotype. How many times can you beat a dead horse? We all
Exactly.
know Maiden.
Yeah, we don't need to do no more of that unless they have a new album. But join me tomorrow. I will be on Almost Human Live, and we're going to have Caton from Hyrex.
Oh, Ralph's finally out of the hospital.
He is out of the hospital, so we are doing a show tomorrow.
Good stuff.
And Caton's going to be on there. New Hyrex album's coming out, I believe, at the end of this month. So check that out. And that's it. Hit subscribe, and we will see you guys next week.
Cheers.
Bye.